Training camp is 1 week from today. I'm super excited. Let's talk about my favorite storylines to watch out for during this year's training camp.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Breece Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and we talked about Hard Knocks coming to the New York Jets 1 week from today when we start our training camp. We're going to be the first team reporting back, but I don't want to talk about Hard Knocks. Let's talk about storylines, things that we should be following this year, stories that we should be monitoring this year at training camp that I find interesting, important to the team's success, or just kind of funny and goofy. Let's start with, I think, the biggest story, the most important thing for me when it comes to storylines coming out of training camp, and that is going to be the offensive tackle position. I think that this is the most important and the biggest story this offseason. Who is going to be left tackle? Who is going to be right tackle? And why? And obviously, the tackle positions are one of the most important positions, not named quarterback on a football team. They protect the quarterback. They keep them upright, all of that stuff. I get it. But not just the who's going to be playing where, but the why. Are they just giving it to Duane Brown to give it to Duane Brown, or did he earn that job? Are they giving it to Mekhi Becton because he earned that left tackle job? And if so, who's going to play right tackle? What do you do about the fact that you now have two really good young players on your roster, but you also have some older players that you might want to carry with you, and Carter Warren and Max Mitchell being the young guys, but you brought in Billy Turner to kind of be a swing tackle. What do you do about that situation? Do you just carry 5 tackles? Who knows? A lot of interesting storylines are going to be developed through the offensive tackle room, and it's one of the most important positions. And in recent history, it's one of our most injured positions. There has not been a year in the last couple of years where we have not lost both of our offensive tackles at one point in time. Like, the starting tackles of week 1 did not finish the year by week 17 for both of the last two. I think it's all 3 of the last seasons. So it's an important thing for me, because obviously we have Aaron Rodgers, which leads to my number 2 favorite story. And this one's just more goofy and kind of fun, but it's, what are we going to do about the quarterback room beyond Aaron Rodgers? There's a lot of people that don't want Zach Wilson to be quarterback 2, and I understand that sentiment. While I do not agree with those people, I think Zach Wilson should be quarterback 2. I think of the guys on the roster, he's probably the best one, and I think Nathaniel Hackett is more than intelligent enough to create an offensive scheme that can get us a win in a pinch. Worst case scenario, if Aaron Rodgers goes down and we do need to start Zach Wilson. But there's more than just 2 quarterbacks on the team. We got Tim Boyle, we got Chris Streveler, and with this new rule that you can carry a quarterback that's not going to be on the 53-man roster, it kind of just throws a wrinkle in there. Are the New York Jets really going to commit to Zach Wilson's development and have him be QB2? Are they going to give up on Zach Wilson after seeing Aaron Rodgers and say, Tim Boyle, you're going to be the backup, and Zach is going to be the guy that's not on the 53-man roster? What is going to be the situation in the quarterback room beyond Aaron Rodgers? I think that's going to be a fun and interesting story. Not one that's going to impact the team in a mighty way, but I still love quarterbacks and the quarterback room. I was a quarterback in high school, so love that situation. The next 2 biggest storylines, 3 biggest storylines, are on the defensive side of the ball, and they all go with who is playing where. And I'm going to start with the one that's most critical in terms of, I need to know this now, and it's important to what the future of this team is going to be, and that's the safety position. What are the 2 safeties going to look like? Is Jordan Whitehead going to continue playing strong safety now that we went and got Adrian Amos? Is the idea still to have Jordan Whitehead play that free safety, and now we're going to have Adrian Amos play the strong safety? Does Tony Adams truly just come in and win the job at free safety, and now we've got a rotation with Jordan Whitehead and Adrian Amos in that strong safety role? What is going to happen in the safety room? Now that we've got Trey Dean and Tony Adams, what happens to Ashton Davis with Chuck Clark being gone? there's a lot of really fun things that can happen with the safety room. And I think just like the offensive tackle situation, the strong safety situation is one of the more critical positions on this team. And we need to be able to find out what's going to happen there. Another storyline that I'm going to be following and where players are playing, not who's playing, but where they're playing, is the linebacker room. I've said it on this channel multiple times. If you're new here, I'll kind of explain it. I think that CJ Mosley should move from the middle linebacker role to the weak side linebacker role, and I think Jamien Sherwood should step in and play the middle linebacker role, hence demoting Quincy Williams to the strong side linebacker and filling in the role of what we got out of Quan last year, a role that I think Quincy would excel at. Also, that would help CJ Mosley in his game. We know that he's lost a step in coverage and all of those things and just doesn't have the sideline to sideline speed that he did before. But as a weak linebacker in our scheme, would get him in and around the ball and able to do the one thing that he does better than I think anybody else on this football team, and that is tackle ball carriers, and that's just what he does at an insanely high level. Jamien Sherwood was touted as being the guy who was going to be the CJ Mosley replacement in the beginning of his rookie year before he got hurt. For those of you who don't remember, Jamien Sherwood was playing the middle linebacker role while CJ Mosley was moved over to the weak side linebacker. Jamien had the sticker and was the quarterback of that defense up the middle there. I think that this is one of the things that I know I care about and maybe not the bigger world cares about, but I still think is a very interesting on what's going to happen with the this middle linebacker room, because as we all know, last year, where were we vulnerable was up the middle, linebackers and safeties. We knew that our front four and our outside three were solid. It's that middle four that we were worried about on every single snap when it comes to the two linebackers and two safeties that we played. And I think that playing Jamien Sherwood in the middle linebacker position helps that out. So there's a story I'm going to be following. And last but not least, it's this defensive rotation. Where are these guys going to be taking a majority of their snaps when the pads go on? Are we going to see a lot of Jonathan Franklin Myers and Michael Clemens playing inside? Who knows? What kind of role do we see out of guys like Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald IV? Two very young and up-and-coming edge rushers that I think are the future of this team. Al Woods, and what does his role look like? While we all know that these guys are going to play, how they're played, I think, is a more important statistic or a more important stat. Because, again, we know that, and a lot of Jets fans, not me, have been asking for more JFM inside. Well, if JFM does bump inside, and I see why you would want that, it does give more opportunities for guys like Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. Carl Lawson is his second year removed from the injury. This is the explosive year. Do we finally see that dominant Carl Lawson experience that we've been expecting over the last couple of years since signing him? Who knows? And this is why I think it's a super interesting story. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your favorite training camp stories? What are you excited to see that isn't just Aaron Rodgers throwing a ball to Garrett Wilson? Let me know in a comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.